Hello and welcome back to the Pitwall Podcast, where this week we break down the Miami Grand Prix.
And what happened at the Miami Grand Prix, Dawson?
Lando Norris got his maiden Formula One win.
How crazy, dude. I was starting to think it was never going to happen. Like, the memes were getting me, man.
Yeah.
I was like, it's never going to
If
happen.
you remember, when we made predictions for the season, what did I tell you?
Did you say Lando's going to get
Lando Norris is getting his maiden win.
I thought so. I couldn't remember if you had actually said it or if you had accidentally told me your envelope one.
No,
But
I haven't told you my envelope.
I know. Can it still come true?
Yeah,
I mean, technically mine can too, but I'm not buying
I mean,
it.
it was like mine can happen. I think I have a span of like a month now for it to happen.
Okay.
Or it won't
Mine's
happen.
kind of in the similar boat.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
It's like
in
summer
December.
break will be like,
Yes or no?
yeah.
Okay. Well, dude, I can't believe I was there for Lando's
That's
first
insane.
win.
Part
Everybody,
of history right there.
yeah, everybody was happy.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was happy. Like, even my parents were happy who are like cheering for Max.
I haven't met someone that's not a fan of Lando Norris.
Yeah, dude. It was just everybody went home happy. It was great.
Yeah.
And like the cheering, my vlog just came out from it. The cheering and everything was just, it was insane to watch.
Yeah.
And I was just so sure going into it, like, all right, Lando's leading the safety car. Cool. All right, he pulled like 2 seconds, but like Max is probably watching his tires and Lando's setting fast laps like a maniac. He's probably not going to get it. Like 5 laps to go. I'm like, wait, is he going to? And I didn't realize how big of a gap it really was time-wise. Visually, where I'm sitting, I sit at turn 11, which is where like most of the action happens.
Yeah.
And other than at like turn 1.
Mhm.
And there's a bridge to my left, like a decent way down the straight, probably 250 meters from the corner, maybe a little further, maybe 300 meters. And it blocks the rest of the straight. And I would see Lando come, and then it would be like, and then Max would come. Like, it would be like big of a gap.
Yep.
And it was like, it's crazy. Seeing 8 seconds looks like in person.
Yeah.
It's like,
It doesn't
it's
look
huge.
like that's an 8 second, like.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
An 8-second gap, like for a road car, would be like down a block. Like, it's insane. So anyway, yeah, bro, I can't believe I even said right before the race to my parents, I was like, what is it like coming knowing that Max is going to win? Like, I haven't got to go to a race where I was like, oh, my favorite driver is definitely going to win today. You know, so I also have a theory that I'm Lando's good luck because they got better at Silverstone when I was there. Yeah. Now I think he DNF'd last year in Miami, so we'll see. But I'm Lando's good luck now, so when I go to Coda this year.
You're like a 66% chance of him having a good turnout. If you haven't watched Nick's vlog on our YouTube channel, go check it out. He did a great job on it. It was a really good job on that.
Yeah, I'm pretty
so please go watch that.
I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not in love with that video, but that's not a review not to watch it. Go watch it. I'm a perfectionist. So all right. Anyway, it was a sprint race weekend. So no quali in 60, obviously. Yeah. The sprint, honestly, the only thing I want to talk about, I don't know if you have anything specific to talk about. Max won it from pole.
Yeah.
But I have to talk about the absolute menace that is Kevin Magnussen. Listen, like, I'm over it. Like, everybody else was like, he's the hero we needed for the season. No. Screw Kevin Magnussen, man. The whole race, every time he did something crazy, was right in front of me.
Yeah.
So he just drove Lewis off the road, like hard, like they would have crashed because he just went straight. He didn't even attempt. Didn't even attempt a turn. Just went straight. Like, we are not turning.
Yeah.
We're crashing. That's it. I trust you, Lewis, not to crash. That's basically what he said. Thank God.
Yeah, thank God Lewis didn't.
Yeah,
turn.
dude. Can you imagine like putting Ocon in that situation? Like, good Lord. So it was making me so angry. And then of course Lewis speeds through the pit lane and loses his single point from it, which I guess they just didn't tell him to put his pit limiter on. I actually didn't get a chance to watch the like onboard or anything, but he was driving like 12 kilometers an hour too fast, which is just a lot. So Yuki ended up getting a point because of that, but it was an insane battle that Lewis Watching him fight the Haas was actually pretty entertaining,
Yeah.
even though I was also like screaming at him. Like I'm keeping my composure
Yeah.
the best I can in front of a mixed audience was very difficult.
Oh, dude, like
Dude, I was so
if
mad.
like a Red Bull had like DNF right in front of you and you were like the only one in that section just like going crazy.
It was better this year. There was no like specifically like Red Bull fan section stuff.
Oh, okay.
this
See,
year.
I was wondering if you were in that or not.
Yeah, and there was no giveaways, which I was really bummed about. So, because across
No
the
free
way
hat for
from
me.
us, there's this insane thing that they built, which is like a paddock almost for Red Bull that you like buy a special ticket to.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like 4 stories tall. It's insane, and
Wow.
it's not permanent. It looks like a permanent building. It's insane. So anyway, I think they just put
Jeez.
all their efforts into that. So
Yeah.
I'm sure to get a ticket in there for the weekend's like $8,000 or something. Dude,
Probably more.
Dude, probably. Yeah, I mean, I know the paddock, the beach club, which is like across the way,
Yeah.
is like, I think it's like $35,000 for a cabana or something. Dude, it's insane.
Gosh.
It's insane. I'm just happy with my rinky-dink seats.
Oh yeah.
So, anyway, sprint was cool. I also want to say Leclerc did pretty well in my
Yeah.
opinion. So he crashed in in practice,
And, yeah.
which got quite the response after last year. Because I don't know if you remember, but he crashed in FP3 and Q3 last
last
season
year in Miami.
in the same turn. Yes. So this year he crashed a little bit significantly further
Yeah.
down the track, but within the first 8 minutes, which of course when you're there
Yeah.
kills time,
Yeah.
track time that you're going to get to see. And it was the only practice session. So, but I want to say before we get into the race
Mhm.
that I'm done with this Leclerc slander as well. Everybody online is talking about how Leclerc is finished and all this stuff. And again, I mentioned this last time. He's finished 5th in like 5th or higher since middle of last season, a little
Yeah.
earlier than middle of last season. So, and he crashes his car. He gets P2 and then in the qualifying and then gets P2 in the sprint race.
Yep.
Like, what else do you want him to do? Nothing. That's
Yeah.
it. I mean, Lando beating Max was like an extraordinary occasion. Getting P2 is like the best you can do right now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Max had to go off the road, put a hole in his car, and for Lando to barely win.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right.
Oh, also Daniel Ricciardo,
Oh
P4 in the sprint.
Thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah.
Bro.
Out of
Old Danny
nowhere,
Rick.
just throws a curveball at us.
I
like,
know. And then he goes to qualify and qualifies 17th.
Yeah. Let's go,
What,
Daniel.
dude? Classic Daniel Ricciardo.
Yep.
I mean, I'm imagining they did some setup changes, or at least I'm just gonna delusion syndrome believe that they did some bad setup
Yeah.
changes, like I have to do for Mercedes these
Yeah.
days. Sorry, he were P18.
Oh yeah.
And then he dropped to the back because he had a 3-place grid penalty from the previous race. So he finished the race the day before. No, the same day he finished 4th and 18th. The same day, within like 4 hours of
Yeah.
each other. Well, closer than that. It was like 3.
Yeah. Insane.
I don't know. Anyway, why don't you tell me about Red Bull's actual Grand Prix?
Yeah,
What went wrong? What happened?
Well, Max lap 21 ran over the chicane at turn 14 and 15 and took out a cone.
A
They called
bollard.
it a bollard.
A cone?
Yeah. So they thought they had front wing damage, so he made a pit stop after the safety car, which is kind of what screwed him. Like,
Right.
so he ended up behind Lando, finished P2 with, I think you said it earlier, it was like a 7.92 gap, I
Yeah.
think. So, which was crazy.
Yeah, it was
Like
insane.
insane to see a McLaren
Leading
8 seconds ahead of
Yeah.
a Red Bull.
on genuine pace. It was way better that Max finished.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Checo nearly took Max out of the race completely at turn 1, or lap 1, turn 1. Thank God he didn't, because that would have started something worse than Monaco last year.
That was actually 2 years ago now. I know,
Oh
it's
my
crazy.
gosh,
I know.
that's 2 years ago?
2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, well, Checo ended up P4, so, I mean, still,
Dude, he almost took out like 6 cars.
Yeah.
Like he almost clean sweeped the grid to where we were going to have like a Lando Piastri Lewis Hamilton podium. Like that's how insane it was. And that because that would both Ferraris, both Red Bulls.
Yeah.
Dude, it was I saw it so like we had a little screen, so I was like, that looked pretty close. And then and everybody went, oh, like when it happened at the beginning. And then I went home and watched it and I was like, what? So I'm glad it didn't happen for Lando's sake. However, it would have been extremely entertaining to watch Checo just absolutely destroy.
He's the Mexican minister of offense now.
Yeah, that was a Hail Mary for sure. Yeah. So what do you think about him finishing P4 though?
I mean,
Leclerc
like
beat him.
Said, yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, I agree with 100% with you. I think Leclerc is by far like top 3 drivers on the grid.
Sainz has his moments. He's a great driver, but he's just Leclerc is consistent. That's more important.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I agree. I was happy that he at least finished P4.
Yeah,
but like we've said before, if he's in a Red Bull, like unless like what happened with Max, like he expect a podium.
Yeah,
like it should be like on average, like now what we expect is Red Bull 1-2, and then Leclerc.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Which has me very excited for Lewis at Ferrari. Like, I'm completely convinced it's going to be a championship battle.
Dude,
at this point.
I feel like you're gonna like clean sweep me in this like competition we're having. By the way, on the driver points.
Yeah, I'm kind of destroying you.
Yeah,
I've got to be honest.
Like, if you don't know, like me and him at the start of the season do a draft, and the way we did it this year is instead of doing the actual combined total driver points of the season, we just did 1 point per race point. Or no, like 1 point per
finish.
Race. Yeah. So he's sweeping me right now.
It's the Alpines, dude. You taking the Alpines that early.
Yeah, it
really screwed you. But it could come back. It could, like, they're making improvements.
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I've lost hope. Otmar's the problem.
Oh well, yeah, Otmar was definitely the problem. Well, I'll be wearing my Ferrari hat.
I was about to say you're gonna have that Ferrari hat by like the 13th race.
Bro, by the way, we're going to blaze through the rest of this basically after I talk about Lando. But my dad said something interesting, and I was like, what? So he stopped dead in his tracks and he looked at me and said, are you going to be a Ferrari fan now? Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm going to be a Mercedes and a Lewis fan. And he was like, what? Like he couldn't understand. And I was like, well, if Max went to a different team, would you pull for him? And he said, no. And I was like, huh? And he said, I mean, I wouldn't pull against him, but I'm pulling for Red Bull. And I was like, am I doing something weird?
See, and then at this point, if Max left, I'd be going with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd be a Mercedes fan if he goes?
Well, I don't
on
know.
the 1% chance that he goes. Dude, we're all going to be friends.
I revoke my statement.
You were not under oath, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's just like, that's kind of like an old world like take on sports a little bit. It's like my dad pulls for the Celtics, okay?
Yeah.
And he pulls for the Celtics.
Okay, it is okay.
I
kind of understand because like in every other sport,
you don't do this.
I'm pretty much like my team is my team. Whoever's on it is whoever's on it.
But yeah, I was like, it just surprised me. I just hadn't thought about it. But it makes sense. Yeah, it's like he pulls for the Cowboys. You know, we pull for Alabama. Yeah. Like I'm not like now a Texas fan because what's his face went to Texas. Yeah. So it makes sense, but it's a little different because it's a weird sport.
I guess like with this, like there's just a lot less players in the field, you know?
Yeah.
There's 20 people instead of like 100 to choose from.
Yeah.
So I kind of get what he's saying. But...
Anyway, I told him I was going to mention this on the podcast. So, so Lando Norris started from P5 and won the race. Mm-hmm. How awesome is that? They got lucky with some strategy.
Yes.
But it could have been worse. And I'll explain why in a second. Mm-hmm. But also there was a restart where Max had every chance to get him, and he didn't. Mm-hmm. There was damage, apparently.
Yeah.
To what extent, we don't really know. But there was some damage. And they actually screwed up the safety car during this, which I didn't quite understand until I watched it. But basically, the safety car, I guess, was so used to picking up Max because it picked him up, and then they had to like relap. So actually, Lando could have won by like 30 seconds because he could have switched tires a second time during the pit stop, thus running. I know your mind's being blown, right? because Lando got to take another lap
Yeah.
ahead, he could have stopped again and not had.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you see, so he could have won
Yeah.
by a huge margin, but they didn't.
That's insane.
So I'm glad they didn't, because again, that would have also taken away from it, because it
Yeah,
would have
yeah.
been Lando won, but
Yeah.
there's none of that now. I mean, I guess you could say Max had damage,
Some
but
people
that
say
happens.
that,
That happens in every, like, it's just
but
part
every
of-
race there's something like that.
I mean, Max even agrees. Max said it himself with his lovely quote. So let's move on. But yeah, congratulations, Lando Norris. It was insane.
I'll follow up with Piastri.
Okay.
Oh, rough day, dude. Got screwed by the safety car after having like a great start. Like he was P2 at one point.
Yeah.
Which was like, it's like I went into this race like before the safety car and all that, thinking like, if something happens to Max, Oscar's winning this race.
I know.
And so he had a collision with Sainz that caused him front wing damage and dropped him to last place. And he recovered a little bit and finished P13. But like from second to last, dude, that sucked.
That does suck, from a podium to
Yeah.
finish. So I also want to mention that I was there live, so I didn't listen to the radio.
Yeah.
So I didn't hear when they came on the radio and said, Oscar, stop fighting, because Oscar was going insane, like a madman, fighting people down for no points. And I just kept looking over at my parents and saying, he's going to crash and cause a safety car, and Lando's going to lose the race. Because if Max gets another chance,
He's
if Max gets another chance, they'll stop for tires. Something will happen.
Yeah.
So Max is like the master of safety car restarts, like hands down.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, Piastri, stop fighting, stop it. Like I was like freaking out. And then I watched later, and literally around when I was yelling that, because I can hear it on my footage.
Yeah.
Like I could see around when it was. They got on the radio and said, Oscar, keep in mind, Lando's leading the race. Calm down, basically. I thought that was like, yes. Because, dude, he was making close calls.
Yeah.
And speaking of close calls, let's look no further than the Alpines at the beginning of this race, where they went tooth and nail through every single back part of the first couple laps.
Yeah.
Dude, what is this team doing?
I don't know.
Like, tell me about how Ocon's race go.
I actually got a point.
Yep.
Which was shocking. Finished P10. He was held on, or he had Alonso in front of him. He was P11, and I thought that's how it was going to stay for the longest.
Yep.
I was shocked to see he overtook Alonso in lap 48. So what, like, how long was the race? 53?
57.
No, 57. Yeah. So it was a 9-lap difference at the end for him to get P10. I was kind of shocked he actually got that with the tractor and all that. But
Yeah, no kidding. Well, they brought a new floor and some other stuff, so
Yeah.
they are improving.
they are.
They're still nowhere near where they were last year.
Nope.
But Gasly did not get a point. Gasly got P12. He finished behind Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
So I mean, they can say they're friends now, but that did not.
No.
Dude, I was like, there's gonna be a safety car lap 1. They're gonna crash and cause a red flag, even because they went through the back chicane, which is like 15,
Yeah.
like turn 15, like side by side, and there's barely enough room for that. It's incredible they didn't crash. Genuinely,
I'm sure there's problems there
dude. Yes,
for sure.
And like Patrick Mahomes is there that weekend. What is this? What's going on here? Oh man,
It's wild.
Good old French Haas. Where do you want to go next?
I'll talk about Ricardo because we talked about him for the sprint.
Okay.
He finished P4, and then finished P16 in the race. Well, ended up P15 after penalties.
Yep.
But crossed the line at 16th. So like my hope from the sprint was immediately crushed. I was so sad, man.
Well, you were talking about Alonso, so he only finished P9 in this race.
Yeah.
Man, Aston Martin and any sort of upgrades. So, I mean, Lance crashed in the sprint and or got damaged during the sprint, and they had to revert to the old spec, and he looked better in qualifying. So, I don't know what's going on with that team, but he out qualified Stroll out-qualified Alonso.
Yeah.
And then when you see that, you immediately think, what's wrong with Alonso's car? That's the first thing you think. And it's got to be the fact that Alonso had the upgrades and Stroll had to revert back to the old spec.
Mm-hmm.
And they're bringing more upgrades to Imola this weekend. And I'm just like, is this team going to be Alpine by the end of the year? Like, dude, the good news is, thank God for Mercedes, because they have zero pressure. Like, all right.
That's true.
We're going to finish P4 one way or another. Like, we're not catching McLaren. We're not, unless something
but
catastrophic
no one else is
happens.
catching us.
Unless they come up with some amazing upgrade package, which we all know is not going to happen. So, or like, I don't know, mechanical DNFs. But no one is catching. Like, Haas is probably, our RB is the biggest threat right now. They're still way back. So, and a fourth of the season's over. So, but Stroll
crossed the line at P13, but was demoted to P17 for a 10-second penalty for passing Albon off track.
Stroll.
Yeah, Stroll the troll, you know.
But yet, I'm still more mad at K-Mag.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's going to take me. K-Mag is at the top of my list right now, and that is significant.
So I'll talk about Magnussen.
Yeah,
so basically him and Sargent, I guess I'll talk about. So for Sargent, I mean,
I forgot it took out two of your drivers.
Pure disaster, dude. Like, I'm so pissed.
Yeah.
Okay, Sargent got taken out by Magnussen.
Yeah.
Our home race driver, once again, is taken out of a race.
And I thought
that
he was
wasn't
looking
his
pretty
fault.
good. I thought he was looking pretty good this weekend.
Good for Logan. So he takes him out of the race with a collision on lap 28. Magnussen gets handed a 10-second penalty for that collision. Then he gets a post-race penalty, 20 seconds for safety car infringement when he drove to the pit lane under the safety car just without stopping.
Yep.
So he finished dead last, you know, in front of Logan at least.
Yeah, I mean, he and his penalty points on his license.
Yeah, he's like
2 points, I think.
Yeah, he only needs 2 more points to be like, what? That's just like a race ban.
A race ban.
Yeah.
Ooh, all the points he's not going to score.
You know what? I think the other drivers should be like hoping for this. It's like, K-Mag can't take us out this race.
Dude,
we'll be safe.
Dude, I cannot believe how he's driving. Like, I have a lot of respect for him, but like this weekend, I mean, he got 5 penalty points this weekend. That's almost half for a year.
Yeah. In
one weekend. And you could tell, I mean, the stewards even said that they want to change the regulations to be able to up penalties based off repeat offenses because of Kevin Magnussen. These rules have been around for 75 years, and Kevin Magnussen is breaking the system. I'm serious. That's how I can't.
It's infuriating.
But anyway, the Haas that I don't hate right now is Nico Hülkenberg, who finished in P11, did not get a point. However, they did get a point in the sprint.
Yes.
So
he got 1, right?
Yes, because of the where's the he's from Denmark. That's where Kevin Magnussen's from.
Yes.
The Norwegian Minister of Defense. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with like what his name would be.
Yeah.
So I mean, Haas still looking like a solid car. As much.
Yeah.
And obviously, Hülkenberg announced that he's going to be driving for Sauber / Audi. So you got a 3-year contract. So Hülkenberg, man, this dude is like, this dude is, I mean, a leech, but in like a good way. The dude knows how to survive.
Oh yeah.
This dude is like, and there's this line in The Matrix where they're like, there are levels of survival that we're prepared to accept. It's like he'll take off 3 years and come back so he can get arguably one of the most like interesting seats right now is driving for this new team with all this funding and all this stuff. So don't know who's going to partner him yet. That obviously puts Zhou or Bottas in a bad situation. I think neither of them are going to be there probably if I had to guess. I don't know who's going to be
point.
there.
I hadn't really thought about that.
How was Zhou's race?
Got P15. Well, P14. I have both.
Yeah, I understand.
P14 after penalties, crossed the line at P15. I mean, it was, fine. It's what we expected out of a Sauber. So
they're just driving around.
Yeah, they're just there to have fun. They're just keeping their
slot on the grid. Right now. Bottas has P16. Like I mentioned, obviously he's trying to get a contract. Mm-hmm. Dude, I think Williams might consider him. I think he's got some places.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think he's also valuable on the marketing side of things too. And it's kind of like, if that's what Logan ends up being the most important for, it's kind of like, Well, but also, I mean, Williams has a ton of American sponsors at this point.
That's true.
So, yeah, who have we forgotten?
Science, crossed the line at P4, but he had a 5-second penalty for his collision with Piastri, so he dropped to 5th. I mean,
that one hurt actually because he barely finished ahead of Lewis.
Oh, really?
I think it's like a 10th.
Oh man.
Yeah. Not that P5 is like the glorious position.
Yeah. I'm trying to make sure I didn't. Okay,
no, you're right.
I covered everybody.
Yeah, you're right. I missed Yuki, I think.
Yeah.
So Yuki, man, having a great season. P7.
One of my favorite drivers from this race.
Yeah, dude.
For sure.
I mean, he's impressing me. He fought off Lewis all that time in the sprint race very cleanly. He's really grown up, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a shame that Red Bull probably won't ever consider him for a top seat for multiple reasons. He's got the dream seat if they can just wake up about Lance Stroll. I know I say this every week, but I just got to keep saying it. I mean, Honda is now even publicly have said they want Yuki, publicly. So it's kind of like, hello, get rid of the Stroll man.
Yeah.
So, let's see. So Mercedes. That's the point we're at now is where we save Mercedes for the lower teams. So Mercedes Lewis got P6, Russell got P8. I just want to say that at one point in the race, Russell said, "Tell Lewis to hurry up," and then he did. and basically equal tire strategy after the safety car situation. Lewis beat him by 21 seconds. So I don't want to hear any more of this.
Hurry up.
No, that's not Russell. It's not Russell.
Yeah.
Russell's not out there saying I'm better than Lewis.
Yeah.
It's everybody else going, Lewis is so washed. Look, he can't even beat Russell. No. Look what he did. At a race which I expected way worse, especially considering how poorly qualifying for the sprint and the sprint went. There are little improvements, and maybe it's supposed to rain this weekend.
Yeah.
Maybe they can both squeeze into the top 5 somehow. I don't know how with McLaren and Ferrari looking so good, but and Ferrari's coming with some updates this weekend that they are talking up big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Fred Vasseur is doing an insane job at Ferrari.
Dude, actually though.
So he pulled like 2 of the highest people at Mercedes, including basically Toto Wolff's right-hand man. So, I mean, Toto Wolff has lost his right and his left-hand man now because James Vowles was also like, dude, this is brutal. And then Christian Horner came out this last week and said that they have poached 220 Mercedes engineers since 2014, I guess.
Jesus.
220 out of like 1,000 probably of the whole staff.
They're trying to build that super team of engineers.
Dude, it's like, oh, so Red Bull's just Mercedes now with Adrian Newey.
Yeah.
But no longer. No longer.
Yeah, that sucks.
Dude, if they will collect the final Infinity Stone if Adrian Newey signs up for this, because there's no way that this can go this poorly with all of these people.
Yeah.
And the reason that I brought up he's a genius is they saved their filming day until they're bringing their most key updates for the season. So that way they could do a filming day and really just have 2 sprint race length things to test their stuff at their track at their factory.
Yeah.
Genius.
That's smart.
Genius.
Wow.
So that they already know everything about they need to know for these updates.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll run some more during practice, but like they're already like they work.
Yeah.
So if somehow we could get a McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull, just a sniff of a battle, at least with Checo.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude. What an end of the season.
That'd be crazy.
What an end of the season this is going to be. So
yeah, I think Ferrari's going to start pulling some weight.
I think so too.
Soon.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for Lewis, man. So him making great career decisions, unlike Alonso, who makes terrible career decisions,
or Daniel Ricciardo.
Oh man, yeah, the worst in history. So last, Alex Albon finished essentially last because Logan didn't finish.
Yeah,
came back, had a bunch of penalties. So Williams, man, rough weekend. I really hope that James Vowles' plan is going to work. I'm kind of worried because if they pull an Alpine on him, I don't think they're going to. But, you know, he has this plan of however many races, kind of like.
I don't know. It's
Otmar
James
did.
Vowles. It's different than Otmar.
Oh, I
think.
agree.
So, like, I don't think I don't think they would.
I agree, and I totally believe in.
I
James
feel like they
Vowles.
go through drivers quicker than they would trying to replace him.
Yeah,
I feel like they do a few years of that first.
yeah. Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. And also, there's all these rumors of like Kimi Antonelli might get a seat. I watched this pretty reliable source on YouTube. I don't want to say him just in case he like deletes it or something, but he said that James Vowles is on the way to Miami from the UK, I guess, or maybe from where was the last race? China.
Yeah.
And diverted his plane right after a Kimi Antonelli test, like as soon as it ended. Like the times line up from the time that it ended to the time that he diverted his plane back to Geneva, where the FIA headquarters is, to make the meeting in time for the initial Kimi Antonelli waiver meeting.
Yeah.
So that's big brain conspiracy, but those are facts. So
wow.
I don't know why he did. Maybe he has a family member in Geneva. Who knows? I'm just saying it could be a coincidence. Maybe that's the only place he can land. Maybe there's a problem with the plane. I don't know. But I'm just saying it's interesting. But I don't think it's this race. So I feel like they're going to wait now because Kimi Antonelli's hometown is Imola. So I was thinking like maybe they were going to like rush him in.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So I hope Logan gets more chances because I feel like those first genuine points are coming.
Yeah.
And he finished P10 in the sprint.
Yeah.
Because of Lewis's penalty. But he finished P10 in the sprint. So, all right. Winner and loser. Do the thing. You can give the winner to the obvious.
Okay. Obvious winner is going to be Lando Norris.
Yep.
Loser, I mean, anyone affected by K-Mag throughout this weekend probably. And K-Mag himself, I mean, like 30. You have 2 more points. You have 2 more, what's it called? Penalty points to lose before you get banned from a race. I want you to.
If they do it, because the people have been close before, and then they start like
going easy on
just
them.
give them a reprimand.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of season left.
There's a lot of season left. I don't know how he's going to be able to eke this one out. It could happen this weekend. He could get 2 penalty points in the practice.
I was about to say, it could be
Imola.
FP1 and we'll see it happen.
Yeah, he's like, oh, competition? I'm going to give my winner to Charles Leclerc because he crashed and yet he still consistently delivered performance the whole weekend. It almost had no impact on him, and he got 0 practice time. Literally 0. Very impressive to me.
Yeah.
Loser, I'm going to give it to Logan Sargent for getting he was doing better. Yeah, and you could hear the anxiety in his voice that he thought he messed up. So it's rough to watch.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, Imola this week. We finally get an Imola race after 2 years because last year it rained and all that stuff. This is also the 30th anniversary of Senna. So Sebastian Vettel's supposed to drive his car around for like a ceremonial lap or something. So that's cool.
That's really cool.
So yeah, lots of season, European circuit about to come. So some more like regular F1 races. We have Imola and then Monaco next week. So
heck yeah.
Good
Excited.
Times. Yeah. So thanks for watching. Anything else, Dawson?
Follow us on all socials at the Pitwall Pod.
Yep. And we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.
Bye.